Hey there, it's Ben from Pattern Profits bringing you the weekend update and weekly watch list for the week of September 26th. First, going to take a look at the IWO small cap growth, kind of out here in no man's land. Quite stretched from 10, 20, and 50, 65 clouds, so would not surprise me at all to see some type of bounce to 1734 level to watch above. You have anchored VWAP from off of the June low. Watch that 1020 cloud. It's declining and may meet price somewhere over here. If we do see a bounce this week, I'd be more concerned if we don't bounce. I mean, we've been down 7 of the last 9 sessions, have a risk of really melting significantly lower if we don't see some type of relief rally first. I do think any strength, especially up into this area, 1020 cloud or even higher into that 50, 65, probably gets met with aggressive selling, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. If you look at FFTY, that's the IBD 50 ETF, already significantly into new lows. So the growth stocks there, not really looking good at all. And it's a little different with PDP. You're still a little bit off of the low, 66.22, that prior low. Friday we got as low as 67.06 here. So in range of that low, but hasn't fully tested or undercut yet. May still get there, but again, it's so stretched. Wouldn't surprise me to see some upside first, then roll over, fully test or undercut that prior low, looking that way on the major averages as well. But again, we'll just have to see how they act. A few names I'll be watching. MNTK, just curious whether this will hold that 1665 standard pivot. Alternate energy, one of the stronger groups in the market, and they really broke hard late last week. So just want to see if it holds that pivot and can bounce back above 1020 cloud there through this descending trend line, or does it, really undercut that pivot and come back down here, test 50-65 cloud. Montauk MNTK, not the only one in that group. Some of them have already come in. ORA, you see this one kind of in this little box I had highlighted, came down, tested 50-65 cloud, but closed strong on Friday, up high in the range. So we'll just have to see if it can hold the lower end of that range and make some upside progress there. 11% short float, 7 days to cover. So on strength, they may get a little nervous, but just have to see if this can get back into this consolidation, or does that continue lower. That's ORMAT, ORA. One more in that group, keeping an eye on ENVX. Same type of thing here, where you're at the lower end of the range, trying to hold the lower end of that range into 50-65 cloud there too. You had that power earnings gap back here, and it's just kind of dancing around that anchored VWAP there. Not able to make much upside progress, but hasn't completely broken lower yet either. So just keeping an eye on that. A couple weeks ago noted October 25 calls, very active. So we'll see if that can make any upside progress. If we do see any strength in the market, especially in small cap growth. HQY, health equity, held up well last week. Kind of a sloppy looking double bottom pattern. Didn't shake out on this side, so above the left. But if you just taking into consideration what's happening on the right side of the base here, and comparing that to what the general market is doing, just want to see if that 72.70 pivot, if it decides to hold 1020 cloud there, could push through there, or does that melt lower? Again, that's health equity, HQY. A few names in biotech that look good. 747.42 pivot here on REGN. This is a larger cup with handle pattern, and I see this as a flag, which gives us that handle flagging right back into 1020 cloud. Big volume on the gap, coming back in on easing volume right into 1020 cloud there. Anchored VWAP off of the gap, anchored VWAP off of the high just above. I want to see if it can push back above the 10 portion of 1020 cloud, take out those VWAPs, get through that trend line, push back towards or above 747.42 to the upside. A few other names in that group look good. I'll give you another one, RVNC. This is another one holding up well. You saw big volume back here, light volume as it came into 1020 cloud. That anchored VWAP from off the prior high, anchored VWAP from off the high, that kind of in the pinch there, 1020 cloud there, could put a little descending trend line on there too. So want to see it come up and through there. Ideally, if it does come out of that little pinch, want to take out that high 2951 above. Again, that's RVNC. Also going to take a look at AMPS, another one that held up well. Bearish outside day on Friday, right into 1020 cloud. Want to see if maybe this goes sideways a couple more days, then push up and out. But 1265, that prior high just below there. Pretty impressive that it's that close to those highs given how ugly the market was last week. You see that anchored VWAP off of the prior high back here holding as support right into 1020 cloud. So any upside continuation there may take out that 1265 high. That's what I would be looking for there. Going to keep an eye on the tankers too. They were really acting well. And now most of them coming back in either into 1020 cloud or a little lower into 5065 cloud. A couple of them up near the top of the range there though. TNK, one of them came in really hard on Friday. So just want to see if they bounce or continue to melt lower. TNK, one that I'm watching, as well as INSW, another one right into 1020 cloud, was holding up really well. Wednesday, Thursday, even as the market was coming in. Then Friday got hit pretty hard. Bounced there off anchored VWAP from the prior high, 1020 cloud. See if it can reclaim that anchored VWAP from off of the high, take out that recent high, 3672. On the other hand, if these crack the 1020 day, probably have a date with 5065 cloud below. May set up short opportunities there. There's a few names, too, that are setting up head and shoulders pattern similar to like what we saw last week in Celsius, CELH. See if those crack to the downside as well. A lot of the stuff that's giving up the 20-day moving average may have a date with the 50-day moving average below. So worth keeping an eye on. Tankers, TMCI. This one a little bit thinly traded, averages about 300K, but another one holding up well, flagging up high. This flag, part of this, you have this kind of cup pattern, little handle here, kind of pushed through there, flagged again, pushed out. Now it appears to be flagging again, right again into 1020 cloud, easing volume below average. Just want to see if that can push out of there and make the turn. The high there was 25. So if you do push up and out, want to make sure that can take out that high at 25 within a few sessions. On the other hand, like I said, if that 20 portion, 1020 cloud fails, look for that come back down here towards a 50-day year-to-date anchor VWAP below. More observation than participating likely to be the case this week. But those are what are on my radar, what I'm watching, and we will again see how it acts. That's all I have into the week ahead. Hope you have a great week, and I will see you over on FinTwit.